Hello, everyone. Welcome back to episode 294 of Cantina MX Football Podcast. I'm your host, Jaime Landeros. We have completely finished the group stage of the Gold Cup. Mexico awaits their opponent for the next round. And there's also the Olympic squad making their debut on Thursday in Japan against France. Should be a good one tonight. But before I go any further, let's welcome Joel. Joel, how are we doing tonight?
Good, Jaime. Doing good. A bit excited for the league. We'll be starting soon as well, even though my goats picked 0 players.
The goats will be toothless come the kickoff.
I don't know about that, Jaime. I'm feeling positive.
Well, we've been here before. We've always extended our hand to the bigger cause, which is a national duty, giving all of our fruits and labors to a bigger cause in the Gold Cup. And in past, we've done it for confederations, we've done it for the World Cup. So I mean, it'll be interesting to see how this team handles Atlético San Luis on Saturday. Yeah, that's how quickly Liga MX is kicking off. But before all that, we had to catch up on some Gold Cup action. Between our last episode, Mexico played twice after struggling against Trinidad y Tobago 0-0, losing Chucky Lozano to an injury. He's out for 6 weeks. They came back, played against Guatemala, who were not even supposed to be in this tournament. They were filling in a spot for Curacao, who unfortunately just had too many COVID cases. So Guatemala, who doesn't even want to be here, got pounded 3-0 by La Selección. And who other than Rogelio Funes Mori scoring twice, and Orbelin with the dagger. So far, it's been pretty good for Funes Mori, huh?
Yeah, and this is like we talked about how this could be his tournament to win over a lot of the skeptical or a lot of the fans.
Absolutely.
But I'm pretty sure he's done enough.
Scoring twice.
For Tata to take him into the eliminatoria.
Yep. I mean, he's scoring goals. You can't complain there. And in my book, he's Mexican. I saw him singing the national anthem. It's legit. It's official. He knows the lyrics, at least.
He knows the lyrics.
After that 3-0 pounding, Mexico played again on Sunday. Check this. They played El Salvador. They were, and this is the first time I've seen this in a long time, but they were actually outnumbered at the Cotton Bowl. I did not expect El Salvador to show up as far as the fan support, but it was all blue out there. I don't know if you caught the game.
No, I was working, but I'm not too surprised. I think a lot of, like El Salvador fans don't get many opportunities to watch their team play live. So, and that's, you gotta give it to that fan base, even though they're not playing so good, they still support, and just the rivalry they have with Mex. They've always seen Mex as their big rivals, or one of them. I guess you could say Honduras, probably Guate are among their close. But I guess safe to say Mex is one of their bigger rivals. So to play them, and I think they always see it as a measuring stick as well. You know, the way Mex fans when they play Argentina or Brazil,
Mm.
kind of let you know how good the team is. Um, but yeah, I think you know I just you could say a lot of the Mex fans just kind of they sort of have turned on the team. I don't know if you could tell from social media, just very negative. So not surprised a lot of them stayed home.
Yeah, I was really impressed with the turnout at the Cotton Bowl. Not only that, but it was actually the most watched Gold Cup group stage match on U.S. television in a decade. 3.79 million viewers. So, just amazing.
Yeah, those were the Mex fans that. That's the other thing, you know. You don't have to go to the stadium anymore. They used to do blackouts, so if you were in the city where the game was being played, you wouldn't be able to watch it. But that doesn't happen anymore.
Yeah, and I watched the game, and I'll be honest, I think El Salvador merited like a draw. They played very well, and they should be proud of this loss. And Chaca Rodriguez, out of all people, was the goal scorer very early in the match, and that was unfortunately the only game. So Mexico win the group because El Salvador had won their first two games. So Mexico had to win this match in order to get the first seed. They end the group with 7 points, El Salvador with 6. As far as the United States, they won all 3 games. So they have 9 points. Canada has 6 points. Costa Rica also won all their games. Jamaica in second place. And as of right now, Qatar actually won the group. They were invited as a guest, and they ended up winning the group, huh? Go figure, man.
I didn't even know they were, man. That's how much attention I've been paying to this tournament. I didn't figure, man. And
Yeah.
that's who've been critical about, you know, when it comes to the controversy of the chant. Um, and it's like just Qatar's thing. I guess it's better to put the spotlight on Mex. Now it makes more sense to me. Hey, don't take a look at what's going on over here. Those fans are yelling obscenities. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't, I don't make such a big thing of Gold Cup, and I already been seeing, like you mentioned, Tata's job be on the line. I'm like, who cares, Winning it doesn't guarantee anything, really. Like guarantee as far as like you're doing this good or that bad.
Ah.
Uh, you know, and I don't think that each tournament it's like its own separate thing. For example, going into Argentina 78 World Cup, Mexico dominated. I believe they won every game, but they dominated qualifiers. They go into the World Cup and get embarrassed, you know?
78 was in Argentina?
Yeah, yeah, it was one of the worst World Cups for Mex. Just last place, they finished last place.
Oh, wow.
You know, they just got beat pretty bad. And then that was 78, and then they miss out in 82.
Let's see.
They missed.
Mexico lost to Tunisia, got destroyed by West Germany 6-0, and then Poland 3-1. Wow. You ain't kidding.
Yeah, and I saw an interview like an old interview. I don't know if it was uh, what was the dude? He played at Pumas and he coached the women's team for a long time.
Hmm.
He had a fro. He had the Hugo Sanchez fro from way back. Reyes, I can't remember his name, but he was the Mexico women's coach for like I don't know 10, 20 years. But he was in that squad, and he was talking about how they didn't even know anything about Tunisia. They didn't even study them. He's like, we
Wow.
never. And up until that point, no African team had gotten a win at the World Cup. So that was the first win
Wow. Always
for an
on the wrong
African
side of
team.
history, Mexico.
In That's not as bad as like I think it was the second World Cup, and they traveled all the way to Italy, and back then it was like a month-long boat travel,
Right.
and they agreed to play the U.S. in the qualifier in Italy. So like the U.S. So I think it was invitational. So Mex had already arrived there, and I think the U.S. was like, we want to play,
Huh.
and I think they were like, if you want to go at it, like if Mex wants to go at it and put their spot on the line. And I don't know, I need more info, but they agreed. Mex gets eliminated.
Oh, so it didn't even make it to the World Cup.
Well, they made it. They just,
Oh.
it's like you get to the club, but you just to the door. Oh, they stood in line for a month. That's long. Those were long boat rides, man. You're looking at
Yeah.
1930.
Yeah, for
Um,
real.
I guess they didn't care, man. They're in Europe. They just
Yeah.
go vacation, come back, and a lot of times players back then were people with money, so that was just like second. That wasn't a big deal. Um, I need a bit more info. I'm not sure if FIFA made them or they agreed. I need to go revisit the archives. Uh, but yeah, wrong side of history with some of these things.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out that 82 qualifier. It looks like
What one?
Honduras won the final round and
Yeah,
El Salvador, and then Mexico got 5 points. They only won one game.
yeah, they had.
And Hugo
And
Sanchez was the top goal scorer with 3 goals. I guess it wasn't enough.
nah, and that team, Honduras did pretty good at the World Cup. I don't think they went past the round, but they played good games. Uh, El Salvador was the ones that got thoroughly humiliated. I
Oh,
think Hungary beat them like 10 or 12.
no way.
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad, and
Oh,
they
wow. ten
they haven't
one.
they haven't returned to the World Cup since. They don't want to show their face. They don't because they don't want to show their face.
Damn, that's a tough group though. I mean, Belgium, Argentina, and Hungary. Yeah, that was a tough group, man.
Yeah, and that was probably the last time Hungary was at a World Cup.
Wow. Was that
And
Haji
so
on that team? That's the only player I know from Hungary. Or is that
Haji,
Romania? Fuck, that's probably
yeah, I
Romania.
think the guy
Fuck.
from Barcelona,
I
yeah, Romania.
failed. He's Romanian, I'm sorry. No, Hungary,
Yeah,
I'm thinking of the Panenka, right? They named after him.
yeah, there was Panenka, and then there was Puskas, uh,
Puskás,
Real
yeah.
Madrid,
That's right.
Real Madrid, a legend. But yeah, those were.
Damn, I'm 0 for 2, bro. Antonin Panenka's from Czechoslovakia. Oh man,
Close enough. They're
close
they're a,
enough.
they're a, they're a stone's throw from each other. Some of these countries, because some of these countries were at one point
Together.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah, like Yugoslavia is now like Croatia and
Well, it
Slovenia and shit.
was like Yugoslavia became Serbia and Montenegro, and then I don't know. It's
Yeah.
changing.
You know
I mean,
what's
you're looking at you just mentioned West Germany, and we could look in there, and instead of Russia, it was the Soviet Union, the CCP or CCCP, whatever it was, but it was Soviet Union, it wasn't.
yeah, it
And there
wasn't.
was two Germanys, so it was West Germany and I think
That's
East.
crazy. It's kind of like
So
Ireland, right? There's like North Ireland and then there's
yeah,
Ireland.
Yeah, so it's trippy seeing it. Some of these some of these teams don't exist anymore.
I remember in the 2006 World Cup, there was a nation that it was going to be their first and only World Cup because like they the country changed or something. It was
Eh,
Serbia and Montenegro, I think.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's a trip what we're seeing. But
So
so I don't.
what you're saying
Huh?
is this Gold Cup is meaningless and take it with a grain of salt.
Yeah, well, not meaningless, but no need to exaggerate. The sky isn't falling.
I see.
Mex could not could bomb, and it doesn't mean that the team all of a sudden sucks. You know, this has always been the case with Mex, where it's like usually they do well at the first Gold Cup at the start of the cycle, and then the second one they always seem to like not play as well, or they just exit out. And we've seen it with other coaches. We talked about La Volpe, he won it. He won the first one, right? We talked about how he played Brazil twice,
Right.
but then he did horrible the second one, and that was like one of his marks that gets ignored a lot, where he never managed to win a second round game outside of Mexico. So that was the only time he won a
Interesting.
second round game, and it was and that was Mex playing other games at Azteca. But when he played the second Gold Cup, when he played Confederaciones, World Cup, I believe Copa America as well, all exits, second round exits.
I mean, but you can say that a lot about almost every coach for La Selección.
Nah, because we've seen them do, well, at least Confederaciones when it was on, you would see them get pretty far.
Yeah.
Olympics as well, because he coached the Olympic team. Is when he said, if I don't bring a medal, I'm quitting. And then they get eliminated in the group stage. He was like, what? So he's like, stop bringing up old shit. He just they just ignore that. But no, I think we've seen Mex coaches do pretty good, like in other tournaments. Maybe not World Cup, but like at least other tournaments where they've gone and at least managed to go past that group stage. So yeah, this is the one where I guess we could add a bunch of reasons to it, but we always see the Mex team just kind of falter.
We'll have to see how it goes. I mean, this tournament, even though it's not very prestigious, this is Mexico's tournament to lose. They're definitely the best squad out of all the group. Is they have the best players. I'm looking at the matchups, so it seems like it's going to be Qatar versus El Salvador and Honduras versus Mexico. And then it's going to be these are already official: Costa Rica, Canada, and USA, Jamaica. So those games are already official. Those will happen on Sunday. So um, Mexico played Honduras, right? If I'm not mistaken, or maybe they didn't. I forget.
No, you're thinking Guatemala.
No, in the Nations League.
Oh, okay, you're talking about Nations
Yeah,
League.
yeah, in the Nations League,
Yeah, they didn't lose. Um,
they had to go
I
to
mean, they lost to
penalties.
the U.S., but it was penalties. But they didn't lose in regular time. Yeah, I could still see Mex making the final. Um, I do think they're favorites because you said they have the strongest squad. But you know, football a lot of times one-offs, you get upsets. If this was NBA style best of six, and there'll be clear-cut winners. There'll be clear-cut winners. But it's one game. Anything could happen in one game. You already seen like with was it Chucky that's missing now,
Yeah,
uh, and then didn't another player get injured?
Possibly.
Well, another one could. Another one could. Another one a jinx. I don't want. Wait, Tecatito, was he
He's good.
injured? Oh, he's good. All right. I don't know who I'm thinking of. But things like that happen, or player does a dumb mistake, red card,
Right.
any 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 of these things could end up costing you the game.
Yeah, so if Mexico takes care of Honduras, I believe they would match up against Costa Rica and the winner of Canada. So they're always going to try and make the Mexico USA the final, potentially. We'll have to see how it goes. But the final will be in Vegas on August 1st.
You're prepped to go, Jaime.
Hopefully they don't screw the pooch. Hopefully they get the job done, and I'll see them in Vegas. But yeah, that's the plan. Kind of shifting gears and talking about something a little bit more prestigious. We have the Olympics kicking off. I think the women's side has already kicked off, but the men's side will be going live on Thursday. For us here in the States, it'll be Wednesday. So depending if you're on the East Coast or West Coast, you might be up at 1 a.m., you might be up at 4 a.m.
Damn.
I think it's early enough to, be able to record it and then, watch it the first thing in the morning and just turn off all your notifications. But I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I used to just stay out. This brings me back to the Korea-Japan.
Oh, yeah?
Korea-Japan World Cup. Same, would stay up to watch the games really late.
Yeah, it's exciting, I think a lot of people want Mexico to win, a medal, but I don't know. I wouldn't get a little, too exaggerated. I think it's gonna be tough. It's gonna be tough. You talked about it. It's like France.
I don't see that.
It's Japan, the host, and then Africa.
Yeah, I see that. I see them leaving early.
Tonight's thumbnail is actually a potential lineup for Mexico. Diego Lainez, Henry Martin, and Alexis Vega up top. Sebastián Córdoba, Luis Romo, and Charlie Rodriguez in the midfield. Eric Aguirre, Memo Vázquez, Cesar Montes, Jorge Sanchez, and then Ochoa as goalkeeper. This is a stacked team, man. I don't know what team France will bring, but this team is stacked, man. They got...
Well, they lost like 8 players, right? Like eight of their starters. But they do have Gignac, proven to be an expert at scoring against Mexicans. And Gignac's buddy that's joining him for the Tigres, right?
Florin Taubin.
Called both of those dudes up.
Yep. Yeah, that'll be special, being able to see Gignac versus Mexico. There's a few Liga MX players, so he'll recognize a few players. So yeah, it should be good. He also has a tendency to score against Ochoa, so hopefully that's not the case.
I thought Ochoa was at the Gold Cup. That's how much attention I've been.
He went to the
attention.
No, Talavera's our goalie.
I was there.
Oh man.
I was at the game I don't even remember what game. What game was it?
The friendly, Nigeria.
Oh, yeah, it was a friendly. There you go. He was at the friendly though, right?
No.
No?
No. No, it was Talavera. It was Orozco.
It's playing tricks on me, man. Orozco. Okay.
Ricardo says Copa Oro has been poop, but Qatar has been playing fun, good football. And he says El Salvador feels like Mexico. Mexico's performance against Brazil when they tied in the World Cup, except they lost. Yeah, like I said, man, like that El Salvador team was they played well. You know, they weren't able to get a point, but you know, they got my respects.
Yeah, every time they play with, Mex,
You know
they
what's
just
interesting in the only Gold Cup that Chicharito ever played in, he scored a hat trick against El Salvador, and that match has been talked about as being fixed. Like it was a fixed match. So kind of
oh.
yeah.
But if it was fixed, I think it was fixed from the Salvador side.
No, yeah, that's what I mean.
So where it's like Mex wasn't in on it, and then the fix is on like the betting. So
It was
it
on the
could be like
betting, definitely.
they're losing by 3 goals. That could be it, where it's like they're gonna lose by this amount of goals, and that's because they were, and we talked about it. We were talking about just how that they almost lost their affiliation to FIFA,
Yeah.
because of all the stuff that was going on. And there's some stories. I remember reading one a few years back. So Salvador, like it was like a promoter. I don't know if he was tied to the Salvadorian FA, but he organized the game. Uh, well, some African team reached out to them. I guess they wanted a friendly, and so but when they went, they took a club team. I forgot the name of the Metapan or something like that.
Oh
So
yeah.
they took a club team over there, and they were posing as the national team. And I guess they figured it out, man. I think the match was canceled. I mean,
Oh
I
wow.
think
So it
what
says
happened.
on September 20th, 2013, the Salvadorian Football Federation banned 14 Salvadorian players for life due to their involvement with match fixing while playing in that match. So uh yeah, they got banned for life
Damn.
for throwing the match that 5-0. I thought it was kind of weird because Mexico was already like winning 4-0, and then out of nowhere they like call that penalty. It was like totally unnecessary. And then Javier, I think he missed it, like the goalie blocked it, but then I think like the goalie let him score like the rebound or something. It was just like something really peculiar.
The goalie died thinking
He's like
he was diving
pendejo.
the wrong side.
He's like, dude, I told you not to hit it on this side, bro. Like,
And when he catches it, he throws it back. Trying to make it look like he's deflecting it.
yeah.
Yeah, man, there was a lot of shady stuff going on in that FA, and it's like you have to wonder how much. A lot of times it's like the dirigentes are involved.
Uh huh.
It's hard to pull something like that, just going to the players. Um, so yeah, it's pretty bad. So I mean, good for them that they managed to get things together, and they have, there's been a lot of smoke getting blown up their ass about the performance, and a big reason because of the Hugo Perez, former U.S. I think I don't know if he was born here. I don't know if he has Salvador. I know he's of like his parents from El Salvador.
Who?
I don't know if their coach Hugo Perez, I
Oh.
believe is his name, and he played at the '94. I think he played in the '94 World Cup. He
Hmm.
was in that squad. He was at that early squad with the U.S. when they just bounced
Oh.
back.
He represented the
And
U.S. team.
yeah, yeah, and so I guess he's doing a pretty good job over there.
1994 1984 World Cup and the 1984 Summer Olympics. Wow. He was the 1991 U.S. Soccer Athlete of the Year and was inducted to the National Soccer Hall of Fame in 2008. I've never heard of this kid, man. That's so weird.
Was way before your time, Jaime. How old were you in '94?
4.
You're watching cartoons. Yeah, nah. Even like I missed out on him. I just remember.
Hmm.
I just remember his name, but he was already like on his way out. You know, because it was they say he played since '84. So yeah, I'm not that old.
He must have played alongside Hugo Sanchez at one point at the San Diego Sockers.
Yeah, could have very well.
He probably
Very
did.
well could have played.
So, your prediction for the Olympics, Mexico's not getting out of the group stage?
No, no. I mean, and this was I said it thinking France was gonna bring in a strong team.
Mm.
So my prediction was on that they would lose to France, and then that just we talked about the statistics on how teams that lose the first game in a group stage, if, you know, it's how much difficult it is to advance.
Yeah.
But then France sort of became weakened. So, but I mean, I already made my prediction. I'm just gonna double down. That that to me, I'm not making excuses, but that to me could, you know, it's obviously in Mexico's favor now to play a team that's less not as strong as they could be. Because France has been, you know, talent wise, the past what 20 years, maybe more, going back to '98. So since before '98, you know, it's a team that's just been
They've just been relevant.
turning out so many. Huh?
I said they just stayed relevant, you know?
Yeah, they started bringing in just so many players coming out. You know, Zidane, Henry, all these guys. There's a long list of players that you could name that are just top quality and big. And of course, big reason for that. It's you know they've been doing a really good job with youth.
Yeah, I want to know what's in the water over there in France, but I mean, they've been so good. It's also very funny because it's like for every good World Cup, they have like a one that's just a flop, you know? Like 98, you win it. 2002, you don't get out of the group stage.
No,
And then
but
and then in 06, Zidane carries you to the final, lose it. 2010,
everything.
you don't even make it. You don't even make it out of the group stage. It's like it's just weird like that with France.
And that's when they lost to Mex.
That's right, they did. Thanks
And
to
they almost did it. They
Chicharito.
almost didn't. That was the Henry handball against Ireland. He scored with his hand. I think it was Henry, but they were doing the one off, and he you know
Oh
popped his
yeah,
hand.
I got a bone to pick with him because he did celebrate that goal. It was a clear handball. It gets him
You
to the
have
World
sell
Cup.
it, man.
And when Javier Hernandez years later scores that tap in for Real Madrid against Atletico, you know, Ronaldo did all the work and then he passed the ball to Javier and Javier scores and he celebrates it like, you know, he just won the World Cup. Henri was like, why is he celebrating that goal? Like, he didn't do anything. He just tapped it in. I'm like, bro, you celebrated a handball. Stop it.
Well, but you know, because the thing also for Javier, you know, and he was you're talking about the Atletico Madrid,
Yeah.
and he scores against Atletico.
In the Champions League.
You
Yep.
know, yeah, so it's a Champions League, and he had been getting just so few opportunities
That's right.
where he would score a goal and then he would get benched for like 4 games. It's like, what do you gotta do
Good job.
here, man?
Now go back to the bench, bitch.
But I think that's why it's such a big moment for him.
It was
So, I mean,
it was an
yeah.
accumulation of just, you know, him like getting kicked out by Manchester United by Louis van Gaal and then or was it Moyes? I forget who was in charge at the time, and then just like
both.
getting this opportunity to play for Madrid, and everybody knew he was going to be a bench warmer, but that hard work and grit, he finally it paid off on that goal. And unfortunately,
and the fans liked him. If you talk to the fans, they really liked him.
They did.
But
and unfortunately, they weren't able to go to the Champions League final that year. As soon as Zidane took over, they won 3 in a row, so he missed that whole experience. But yeah, those were the good days. It's kind of crazy to say that he played for Madrid and Manchester United. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, very few.
Ricardo says Javier was at Madrid because of Slim's company doing business with my tío Florentino Perez.
Yeah, there was an article just came out today about some Mexicans being tied to some type of scandal. I just
really?
Yeah, I've seen it, and that could be, but I mean, he still made it there.
Yeah, like when people say, "Come on, he sucks," like, dude, you don't just end up at Real Madrid because you suck, bro. Like, that's such a hard thing to do. So, yep, Olympics kick off Wednesday nights, 1 a.m. for the West Coast, 4 a.m. for the East Coast. Should be exciting. And then we have Liga MX on Thursday. Already kicking off the season. Wow. Querétaro versus Club América at 7 p.m. I know it's on the road, but I think América has this one in the bag. Although they're not going to have Ochoa.
Do you think it will matter much?
No, their backup goalie is actually really good. I forgot his name, but when I went to go cover that match in San Jose, it stayed 1-0 because of him. Like, if it wasn't for that goalie, Atlas would have at least tied the game. So, yeah, he's not a bad backup goalie.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna affect them.
So, what are your predictions for this upcoming season? Cruz Azul finally got the monkey off their back. Do you expect them to maintain that level and defend their title successfully?
I don't know if they could defend it successfully because again, it's the whole liguilla thing and one bad game. But I do see them still being favorites. I'm curious about how Piojo's gonna do with Tigres.
That's gonna be weird, man.
Well, I think he's a good coach. I know there's a lot of Mex fans talking about he's just a motivator, but if that was the case, he wouldn't have done. He's done so much, even at Cholos, like, and you're not gonna get that far just if you're just tickling their nuts, you know. So I think I don't know, man, because now with Tuca gone, he carried a lot of weight, but Tuca was part of the old guard, you know, the old guard of the directiva that's gone. So it's a new
regiment,
new people there. Yeah, exactly, new regiment. And so I kind of have to wonder, okay, how much, how much, like, how much power now would someone like Gignac have now? You know, could he have a stronger presence than Piojo?
I mean, this is Gignac's team right now, man. At this point,
that's why. Whose team is it? You know, and that's the thing that it's like, because man, if it's something this Tigres and this whole international thing, And so if push came to shove, I know they would prefer Gignac, you know? They're trying so hard to shake off that Equipo Chico image. And right now they have two French internationals, which is like it's it's
A
a big
World
deal.
Cup winner.
It's a and a World Cup winner. So
Yeah.
if someone has to kick rocks, it's gonna be Piojazo. So I gotta see how he's gonna handle that. How he's gonna handle that squad, and I don't know much about how Gignac is like locker room wise. Like, is he gonna is he gonna try to like, you know,
I
call
know
shots or
he
what?
wasn't
I
the
don't know.
captain. He wasn't the captain of the team. They gave it
It
to
doesn't have to. It
oh
doesn't have
yeah,
to
I know.
be.
I'm just saying like I'm waiting for him to get the armband. It's just going to be weird, man, cuz you have so check this out. You have Piojo at Tigres and Ferretti didn't retire. He's at Juarez now, So it's like what the that's just so weird.
Well,
And
the thing with Juarez, because I did think he was gonna retire,
yeah.
and I said it here. Anything Liga MX for him, short of like having the same deal as Tigres, which he was not gonna get anywhere, is pretty much backtracking.
Yeah.
But so why go to Juarez? I mean not Juarez. Yeah, Juarez. Well, because one of the persons that took over was from Tigres. One of the I
Oh,
don't know if he's
really?
like an owner or like a president.
Huh.
Yeah, so he took Tuca,
Oh, I
and
see.
Tuca I guess he owed this guy, like this guy was probably used to give Tuca like free range, man, and so he probably said, hey man, you want to come over here, same deal,
Yeah.
and he was probably just because Tuca's a really good coach,
Right.
despite his, they might say his coaching is outdated or whatnot. He's still a very good and successful coach. So that's also, and I had forgotten. So you brought it up. That's also going to be interesting. How that team's going to do. And it takes a while though. It takes a while sometimes when you're starting with a team. So it could take him a while for it. And let's see how long he is at Juarez, um, and what he's able to do over there. Did I say Juarez? I mean Juarez. Uh, as for Piojo, yeah, it's a big thing. Uh, that's that could be the downfall for him. I don't know if he could navigate through that. And I don't think Gignac it will be like a headache, but you never know. Who knows? So big
This
those
yeah. I'm
those
looking at
things
this
have my
Juarez team,
curiosity.
man. They're I mean, they still have Marco Fabian. Um they have they just announced
he
Paul
brings the pomos.
they just announced Paul Aguilar, who by the way
Yeah.
played at Juarez when it was Indios. He got loaned out
All right. Yeah.
and then I remember if I'm not mistaken when he was at Indios, they played against Pachuca and he scored and he celebrated. And then after that, he got sold to America. They didn't like that. um, Now they also picked up a few Chivas players. So Oscar Macias, who is a stud, playing for Tapatio. He's joining Juarez and also Madueña, Jose Antonio Madueña. Really weird about that one because he was part of Peláez's, you know, signings, and he never really played for the team. So now he's off to Juarez, and now they have Tuca Ferretti. So I definitely expect them to do better than last season.
Hmm. Yeah. No, they should. They should. I mean, they have the coach there. You know, he could right some wrongs.
We have Ricardo saying that Don't sleep on Tijuana. They'll be a dark horse this season. Siboldi thrives with equipos
Yes,
chicos.
yes, excellent point. And another dude I forgot about. I've been big on Siboldi, and it's another dude that also gets some hate, but like Ricardo said, he what he did at Santos was just phenomenal. When he took the team and then how they won the league, and just Veracruz was the team where he crashed hard, and you really can't blame him when the players were owed like 3 4 months back pay. Some of them were like getting evicted. it was it was just bad. It was just bad. So I was like, what's going on? First I was like, why would he take that job? why, why is he going to Veracruz? Uh, and then just that whole mess that just surprised me there. I don't know what, but what he did at Cruz Azul was also very good. So
He got close.
I do think I agree with Ricardo. I think he will thrive at Tijuana, a team like that. You know, it just waits to see also is Tijuana gonna bring in players to help them succeed, or are they gonna give them the Busa treatment? Just pull from Cantera.
Another match that took place was the Copa de Campeones, and Leon ended up losing to Cruz Azul 2-1. So Cruz Azul
Yeah,
is the campeón de campeones.
another title for the cement mixers, and that was the first game for Holgan, the Argentine that took over Nacho, who's in Spain now, and so this RG guy, he's supposed to be a good coach, you know. He he comes with a pretty good record, so let's see what he does with Leon.
Yeah, unfortunately, because Leon were not able to win, Chivas were gonna. The result was pending for them to join the League's Cup, but because Leon didn't win, Chivas will not be going to the League's Cup.
Ah, that was a thing. I thought they were gonna play each other. I didn't think it came to that.
Yeah, so it's gonna be Kansas City, Orlando, Seattle, New York, and then on the Mexican side, Tigres, Pumas, Leon, and Santos. So it's like Superliga all over again.
What is is Superliga 3.0 at this point? Uh, it's not going away, gentlemen. You will learn to like it. Uh,
It's not going away because there's going to be a MLS versus Liga MX All Star match on
let's
August
do it. Yeah,
24th. It's happening,
yeah.
guys. We're merging.
Not, but the merger's not like you imagine. You know, it'll be more like as a cup, as a cup. If there ever is a merger, we will see it like in Europe first, like when they were planning that Super League.
Ah,
And
yes.
so once if that happened, then yes, eventually it would start changing. It would start changing the business models for a lot of places. Just like how how companies here became conglomerates. Like some companies started taking over and just became like one super company.
Yeah.
And so yeah, once that happens, and then other just follow suit. And so yeah, eventually that would happen as well.
I'm also very curious. Thanks for pointing that out, Ricardo, about Necaxa. Uh, he was saying that Juarez has the cash. They have American investors like Necaxa. We all know that Necaxa was 50% has been sold to a bunch of investors in the States, including Eva Longoria, Verlander, Kate Upton. There's a lot of celebrities on that list that have taken 50% of Necaxa. So I'm very curious to see how they perform. They certainly can't do worse than last season, being dead last with 11 points. I mean, I think for them, the only way is up. But we'll see.
yeah, and yeah, exactly. We're seeing this stuff happening, and like even the whole business model. There was a few days ago where they was talking about the net worth of a lot of the U.S. franchises, and yeah, they're up there
Yeah.
in money, and it's surprising because
Who do you think is the most valuable
you,
franchise? LA Galaxy?
no, I think it was LAFC.
No
Um,
way.
but I would have to look at the list again. But yeah, it was an LA team.
I just assume it'd be like the most successful team, which is LA Galaxy, but LAFC definitely have
But they
made.
take into account like facilities, like
Yeah,
stadium and all of that, and that could go up. So you could see the LAFC's the bank, called the Bank Stadium,
that's right.
being worth more than the. What's their name so many times? Is it
The
Sports
Dignity
The Home
Health
Depot?
Park or something.
It's
Yeah.
always gonna be Home Depot for me. So el Home Depot. So because it's over there, it's school. It's like in the college campus. It looks pretty. Yeah, I
how
think they
how
did it.
do you remember how much Jorge Vergara sold Chivas USA for?
It's like 10 million. It was like 10 million or
Sources say
20
MLS
million.
paid 25 million.
Okay, five.
Wow. Can you imagine if he had known how much LAFC would be worth now? That's crazy.
Well, not LAFC, the franchise.
Yeah.
He was sitting on the gold. He didn't know, man.
He sold it
He just
for
didn't know what he had.
sold it
Well,
for
because he
chump
didn't know how
change,
to manage.
man.
He didn't know how to manage it.
Yeah.
He thought he thought okay, we give him the Chivas uniform. We call him Chivas, but it was like off-brand Chivas. It was like the cereal that comes in a bag. It's like it says instead of the Cocoa Krispies, it says like something
It's
Choco
like the
Puffs or
cereal you get in a
whatever.
bag.
It was just off-brand, and it's like bad players, like not even the good canteranos. They were maybe two good ones, but 20 bad ones, and it's just horrible. Everything was horrible. I think where they messed up was like, okay, this isn't gonna work. Can't can't replicate the whole Chiva thing, because they was never gonna be allowed if they said we're only gonna allow like Mexican or Latino players or players of Mexican, and that was just gonna be screaming of all type of lawsuits here. So that they were never gonna replicate that, and just putting on the uniform and then was like, yeah, that's not gonna
Yeah,
work.
it was a great idea, but I mean, you got to
No,
give
it
him
was
credit.
horrible. It
He
was
was a
horrible.
visionary, you know? That was a
It's so
smart thing to
horrible.
do.
Yeah. Nah, man, it was a bad thing. It was pitiful. I was there. I was there. I covered them the first 4 years.
Uh-huh.
It was bad. It was almost empty. You could walk into like on game day, and you could get tickets for $5. Really good tickets too. And then they would promotion
I'm
a
I'm s-
family pack. It
yeah.
was like 4 tickets. Uh, it was 4 tickets, 4 hot dogs, a Chiva girl calendar, $50. $50 doesn't even get you to a Molero now, man. You know. So it was bad, man. They did get to a point, and it was with the coach, the LA Galaxy, I mean LAFC coach
Bradley.
Bradley. When he came in, he actually turned them around, and they had a good run, a year or two, where they were playing good, and it was fun to watch. Once he left, they sort of crashed again. You could just see that they were putting money, but I think once that whole, that gimmick, because that what it was, like the gimmick's not working. He should have rebranded, and also like they never really thought about like stadium, which was a big there. They were sharing the Home Depot,
Yeah.
so they were like squatting there. They were the unwanted guests. So it was just poorly planned. I think he just lacked, and part of that was around that beginning to have problems with Angelica and all.
That's right.
So, and he wasn't the only owner. He was part owner. There was another Mexican business. He owned like a part of the team as well, because they were, yeah, this.
Wow. Chivas USA won their conference in 2007. Oh, that's crazy. That was after Bob Bradley, but there was some notable players that played for Chivas USA. They had Alejandro Moreno, Giancarlo Maldonado, Razov, Sacha, Guzman, Bornstein.
Yeah, all of those young guys, all of them were young.
They got their like start there, huh?
That's right. Yeah, because when they were building the team, they sent Hans Westerhoff, and so Hans was supposed to take some of the juveniles from Chivas, but I don't think they let him bring the crap ones. And then the guy bringing players from the U.S. was Thomas Rongen. He was like he had been like under 20 coach. He really got the good, he got a pick of the really good ones. Like five of them ended up being seleccionados,
Yeah.
and going to Europe and all that. He did, he did a pretty good job. Uh, but I think on the next part was just bad. I can't even remember. So, but my favorite story, because I was there for their opener,
Uh-huh.
and they had Pulpo Zuniga, one Pulpo Zuniga.
Uh-huh, the goalie.
Yeah, that they brought, because they brought Pulpo Zuniga, they brought Ramon Ramirez. These guys, they brought him in crutches. They pulled him out of the ICU, and it's like, go play, man. And Valencia was supposed to come, but then he start. But pretty sure it was Zuniga, and he starts the game, and like 5 minutes in, or less than 5 minutes, the first dive he does, he never gets back up. I remember him diving, and then it's like, what's going on? He's taking a nap, and then they get, they wheel him out, and they throw in Gusan, and Gusan was still a rookie. Had to like,
That's so
it was
funny.
it worked brilliant for him, and then that's it. I don't remember Zuniga playing again, dude. That was that. Like,
That was
he
his
was out.
that was
I
his
think he cashed out.
yeah.
He was he already had his guaranteed pay, so he just stayed home.
Yeah, it's
He had his
interesting.
stimulus. He
Pulpo.
got his stimulus. Like, I don't need to go to work. Like, I just got my monthly checks coming in.
There's a story about this guy who basically he like faked his whole like football career,
Like the Brazilian guy.
and like yeah, he like managed to get signed by all these teams, but he would fake his injury when he would start playing. But he managed to like convince like at least 3 or 4 times that that he was a professional soccer player, and he wasn't. But he
I
just
forgot. I forgot his name, and the one time they made him play because they had to, and the player made him play. I mean, the coach forced him in to play, and to fight with the fans to get kicked out.
Carlos Kaiser.
Yeah, and when
Oh, he started at Puebla. Although his
Carlos
abilities were
Kaiser was
far short of
Brazilian.
professional standard, he managed to sign for numerous teams during his decade-long career. He never actually played a regular game, his only appearance ending in a red card minutes after being brought upon.
He told the club owner when he had to go talk to him. He said, "Why you get in a fight?" And he said, "Because they were talking shit about you." You had to defend your honor. I was like, this guy, man, he was a smooth talker.
Wow. So
Man,
he
they're the team I knew he sucked. I mean, they're playing Interescuadras.
he impressed the scouts of Puebla and during a training session and was signed by the club. And then he was a good friend of Carlos Alberto Torres, Ricardo Roca. So I guess that was his network.
Ricardo Roca, if that's the Argentine coach, it's going to be the guy that coached Mex 78.
Brazilian.
Oh, it's a Brazilian
Yeah.
or something.
It
But he
says
was,
he had the physical shape similar to professional footballers, but lacked the skills. His fraud consisted of signing a short contract and stating that he was lacking mat finish, so he would spend the first weeks only with physical training where he could shine. When he had to train with other players, he would feign an injury. The technology at the time made it difficult to detect the fraud. Wow, dude.
I, I don't think Pulpo, I say it jokingly, I don't just think these guys are just, in their
Dude,
last
that is
days.
so crazy. The fact that he was able to sign for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 teams, bro. How?
Yeah, well, the other part, depending, because there's also that whole cricket football, like the laundering.
Yeah. If you guys ever want to read an interesting story, just Google Carlos Kaiser footballer and you'll I wonder if he wrote a book, man. That is pretty interesting. Oh, they have a film. The Kaiser, the greatest footballer never to play football. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 294 of Cantina MX Football Podcast. Do you have any closing thoughts before we wrap this up?
I think we've said it all. Um, just waiting to see who Mex plays next at the Gold Cup. And like I said earlier, excited for Liga MX start. More for the stories. That's what interests the coaches.
You're kind of cutting off there, Joel.
Oh, you hear me now?
Yeah.
Wait, can you hear me now? My mic was like on the wrong side.
Oh, okay.
I'm just saying, excited for the league because it's going to be starting soon, and more so for the stories we see from, like how we talk about Tuca and Ciboldi and all these other guys, Piojo coming in and the stories that happen, because these are like known players, coaches and whatnot.
I guess we have a question from Ricardo. Joel, if Chivas could only let one foreigner play for them, who would you like to acquire?
Oh man, I'm gonna go for the most obvious. It would be between Cristiano and Messi.
Oh, he said those don't count.
Those don't.
I mean, I
Oh
remember.
man,
Do you remember the rumor that like Zidane was gonna go to Chivas USA? I remember that rumor.
no, I don't remember that rumor. I don't know what sites you were reading. I don't remember.
That was on Big Soccer,
That's
bro.
just nah, man. I don't know who came up with that. That's just they didn't have money. They had no money. If the teams back then with the most pull was Galaxy, of course, and maybe like Washington D.C. back then. But nah, not Chivas USA. That was just smoke. Right now, current, I don't know, man, because if you're gonna break that rule, it has to be a big name, someone like that, like someone iconic
Hmm.
that transcends,
Yeah, but
not
would they
just
ever
any
play?
regular.
But would they play for Chivas? No.
No, I mean, but we're hypothetical here, just like
Oh,
we're just saying it. So, nah, I just can't see no one.
I just
Uh,
yeah, just it's like one of those questions. Like I don't know. I can never see Chivas play with not Mexicans. I could see them somehow allowing naturalizados. I could see that happening in the near future, but that would be pushing it.
yeah, that will probably come to it. Um,
Like
Maybe if
if
Chivas
Funes
goes
Mori
past the 10,
wanted to play for Chivas, I would not be against it, man.
if it went, if it, but I think Chivas would probably be more strict and be like they never represented the other country.
Oh,
I think they would. I think they would be more strict than the selección, but that is a possibility if the trend continues. I think as long as Chivas are still within one title every 10 years, they won't change. But if they did end up going into a Cruz Azul style 20-year, then yeah, because they'll be in danger of like losing fans. We talked about how clubs that were big end up just fading away, and so it could happen. Of course, it's a possibility.
yeah.
Um,
Resting on
so
their
no,
laurels and their history. I mean, we've been coasting on 7 titles from the 60s for quite some time. you know?
I aside for Big Two, now I don't have any player. I did have a favorite player back in the days, Pavel Nedved
Oh, Nedved
from
was
the
great,
Czech
man.
Republic. I used to love watching him play. I would watch Juventus games because of him, and it was sad when he missed the final because he got a yellow card during the semi,
When the
and then
champions or what?
yeah, it was in the Champions League, and because of that yellow card, it was like accumulation, so he missed the final, and I think it was Juventus Milan, and Milan had Dida and he cheated on all the penalty. He stopped like three or four,
Oh,
but
really?
he he
Got
cheated because
he got
you're
off his
not
line?
supposed to. Yeah, he and this dude's huge. He's 6'5", and he moved like 3-4 steps. He went up 3-4 steps each time, and the ref is supposed to like
Yeah, back then they
make a
didn't
retake.
care. I was
No,
watching
but I mean,
the shootout between Liverpool and Milan, where Liverpool miraculously came back and won in PKs. They were all off
yeah,
their lines, bro. Dida definitely.
yeah, and it's crazy because I remember, and I was watching back then. We had Fox Sports Americas. They used to call it Fox Sport Argentina because all of their programming was from TYC, Torneos y Competencias, from Argentina. So they had this show with Fernando Niembro was the guy's name. He had like a talk show where he interviewed players. He was interviewing Trezeguet, and Trezeguet was at yeah,
Juve,
he was at Juventus,
Juve.
and yeah, and he told him like, hey man, how come you guys didn't say anything about Dida going like that, like clear violation? And it was like, it's like it didn't matter. But I guess now it doesn't matter for him. They had already lost.
Yeah,
But I did same as this guy. How come they weren't protesting that? How come they didn't
I don't
protest?
know.
No, and that was a thing. But it sucked to have him miss that final. But I did silver lining Jaime and Ricardo. I did get to see him play. at the World Cup when Czech Republic, man, they
Oh,
destroyed
06?
the U.S. Yup,
He
it
was on
was
that
him
team?
and Rosicky. Yeah,
Oh,
him and Rosicky. Oh, dude,
Roziski.
there you go. Oh man, so watching the symphony, dude, and seeing these guys
Wow.
just
I like Tomas
passing the
Roziski. He
ball.
was he was dope, man.
Yes, I did get to see him play live
Then
at
he went
least
to
that one
Arsenal and
game.
shat the bed, but his time at Dortmund was great.
Yeah, he's top.
Well, that's a great story, man. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for the listeners, Ricardo. We also had a last minute comment from Joe Nawo saying that Carlos story was crazy. But yeah,
Kaiser, the
yeah,
Kaiser, it's a fun read. Yeah, go if you find it. There's a lot.
yeah.
You'll find a lot because a lot of outlets have written on him. And there's probably YouTube video if you don't want to read. Who wants to read? you, you could watch a YouTube. I mean, reading you'll probably get a bit more info here and there,
Yeah,
but there's some good YouTube vids as well.
for sure. Well, I look forward to seeing Mexico and France Thursday. Well, it'll be Wednesday for us, and also looking forward to Liga MX returning back in action on Thursday. This is Jaime Landeros and Joel